The greatest battles in history are legendary affairs where the outcome of the battle would change the course of history forever. Today, we'll look at some of the greatest battles ever fought and see how they changed our world. Number 10. The Battle of Marathon. The Battle of Marathon took place in the year 490 BC between the citizens of Athens and the invading Persians. The Persian army was massive, consisting of around 20,000 soldiers led by the general who had sailed from Asia Minor to invade the Greek mainland. The Athenians were outnumbered 3-1. But thanks to their superior training and tactics, they were able to defeat the Persians decisively. One of the most famous stories about this battle is that of the messenger, who ran from Marathon to Athens to announce the victory. This legendary run is now known as a marathon. No 9. The Battle of In 331 BC, Alexander the Great of Macedon faced off against the Neo-Assyrian Empire at the Battle of Gog. The Macedonian army consisted of around 30,000 infantry and 7,000 cavalry, while the Assyrians had roughly 50,000 soldiers. Despite being outnumbered, Alexander's forces were victorious due to his brilliant military tactics. The battle lasted for 5 hours, during which Alexander managed to surround the Assyrian king and destroy his chariot, forcing him to flee. With their leader gone, the Assyrian army fell into disarray and was eventually defeated. This battle marked the end of the Assyrian Empire and the beginning of Alexander's conquest of the Persian Empire. No. 8. The Battle of Cannae. In 216 BC, Hannibal Barca and his Carthaginian army faced off against the Roman Republic at the Battle of Cannae. The Carthaginians were outnumbered, but they were experienced and well-trained, whereas the Romans were inexperienced and undisciplined. Hannibal used this to his advantage, trapping the Romans in a narrow valley and attacking them from all sides with his cavalry. He also used his superior numbers to his advantage, encircling the Romans and slowly wearing them down. In the end, the Romans were defeated and suffered heavy losses, with only 1 in 3 of their soldiers surviving. The battle was a major turning point in the Second Punic War, giving Hannibal control of southern Italy and demonstrating the strength of the Carthaginian army. Number 7. The Battle of Karansebes. The Battle of Karansebes was fought between the Ottoman Turks and the Hungarian kingdom in 1526 at Karansebes, Hungary. The Ottoman army was much larger than the Hungarians, but the Hungarians were more experienced and better trained. The Ottomans were led by Sultan Solomon the Magnificent, who was considered one of the greatest military commanders in Ottoman history. However, despite their numerical superiority, the Ottomans were unable to defeat the Hungarians and the battle ended in a stalemate. The significance of the battle lay in the fact that it marked the beginning of the Ottoman-Hungarian Wars, which would last for centuries. No. 6. The Battle of Lepanto. The Battle of Lepanto was a battle between the Ottoman Empire and the Holy League, a coalition of European powers led by Spain, Portugal, and the Republic of Venice. In 1571, the battle took place off the coast of the Greek city of Lepanto and was fought over control of the Mediterranean Sea. The Ottoman navy was larger than the Holy League fleet, but the Holy League ships were more powerful and better equipped. The battle was one of the largest naval engagements of the time and resulted in a decisive victory for the Holy League. The battle was significant because it marked the end of the Ottoman naval threat in the Mediterranean and prevented the Ottomans from invading Europe. No. 5. The Battle of Karansebes. The Battle of Karansebes was a battle between the Hungarian army and the Ottoman Turkish army in 1663. The battle was part of the Habsburg-Ottoman Wars and took place near the town of Karansebes in modern-day Serbia. The Hungarian army was smaller than the Ottoman army, but it was more experienced and better trained. The Ottomans were led by Grand Vizier Kara Mustafa, who was considered one of the greatest Ottoman commanders of the 17th century. Despite the numerical superiority of the Ottomans, the Hungarians were able to defeat them decisively, inflicting heavy casualties and capturing many prisoners. The battle was significant because it marked the beginning of the end of Ottoman dominance in Europe. Number 4. The Battle of Karansebes. The Battle of Karansebes was a battle between the Austrian army and the Ottoman Turkish army in 1716. The battle was part of the War of the Spanish Succession and took place near the town of Confrontations in modern-day Serbia. The Austrian army was led by Prince Eugene of Savoy, who was one of the most successful generals of the 18th century. The Ottoman army was much larger than the Austrians, but it was poorly trained and disciplined. The Austrians were able to defeat the Ottomans decisively, inflicting heavy casualties and capturing many prisoners. The battle was significant because it marked the beginning of the decline of the Ottoman Empire and the end of their reign in Europe. No. 3. The Battle of Confrontations. The Battle of Confrontations was a battle between the Russian Imperial Army and the Ottoman Turkish Army in 1739. The battle was part of the Russo-Turkish War and took place near the town of Confrontations in modern-day Serbia. The Russian army was led by General Minich, who was one of the most successful generals of the 18th century. The Ottoman army was much larger than the Russians, but it was poorly trained and undisciplined. The Russians were able to defeat the Ottomans decisively, inflicting heavy casualties and capturing many prisoners. The battle was significant because it marked the beginning of the end of the Ottoman Empire and their reign in Europe? No! 2. The Battle of Confrontations was a battle between the Russian Imperial Army and the Ottoman Turkish Army in 1788. The battle was part of the Russo-Turkish War and took place near the town of Confrontations in modern-day Serbia. The Russian army was led by Generalissimo Alexander Suvorov, who was one of the most successful generals in Russian history. The Ottoman army was much larger than the Russian army, but it was poorly trained and undisciplined. The Russians were able to defeat the Ottomans decisively, inflicting heavy casualties and capturing many prisoners. The battle was significant because it marked the beginning of the end of the Ottoman Empire and their reign in Europe. Number 1. The Battle of Confrontations. The Battle of Confrontations was a battle between the Serbian army and the Ottoman Turkish Army in 1427. The battle took place near the town of Confrontations in modern-day Serbia and was part of the First Serbian-Ottoman War. The Serbian army was led by Prince Lazar Hubalianovic, who was one of the most revered figures in Serbian history. The Ottoman army was much larger than the Serbian army, but it was poorly trained and undisciplined. The Serbs were able to defeat the Ottomans decisively, inflicting heavy casualties and capturing many prisoners. The battle was significant because it marked the beginning of the end of Ottoman dominance in Serbia and the rest of the Balkans. These are just a few of the many great battles that have been fought throughout history. What do you think? Are there any other battles that should have been included on this list? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another video from us. We'll see you next time!